Hey everyone, this is John with Sir Winston Honeybees, and today I'm going to kill my bees in order to save the bees. What am I talking about? Stick around and find out. Hey everyone, this is John with Sir Winston Honeybees. Today is Wednesday, July 22nd, 2026. It's about 65 degrees here in Northeast Ohio, where I live. I'm a hobbyist beekeeper, which means that I'm not into commercial beekeeping or anything like that. I just do it for myself. I just do it for fun. And hopefully you are also one of those people. If not, hey, welcome to the channel. So, what are we doing today? Well, around 2007 or so, beekeepers were reporting a kind of a big decline in some of their bee populations inside of their hive. And so right around that time, they came up with a term called colony collapse disorder. So basically what happened is around this time, they started noticing that colonies were coming out of winter, maybe with massive losses. All right. And so obviously there was a concern about, beehives starting to collapse, and maybe there was some kind of disease or something like that going on. And actually, this has been going on for several years. This was reported in the 1960s as well, but it was really around 2007, like I said, that they started noticing these declines. And so this is when beekeepers started taking this situation more seriously. Now, as an individual beekeeper, like I said, I'm a hobbyist beekeeper. It's just me. I really can't do much, except just complain about it. But we, as a community of beekeepers, certainly can do something. And so we have some, if you will, legislative power because, we have some people that are influential in the beekeeping industry that can go to Congress and report on these colony collapse disorders. Why are bees important? As we know, bees are pollinators. That's very important, of course, for our food supply, general health of the environment, of course, and of course, we all like that sweet, sweet honey. And so they came up with, some legislation, etc., and some ways to prevent the colony collapse disorder. And so we've been seeing, of course, some increases in colonies ever since then. But we also have to do some mitigation. So, some of the bigger causes of colony collapse disorder are, of course, the use of pesticides in the environment with our agricultural friends who, we also work with very closely now to make sure that, they have respect for bees, and also something called the Varroa destructor mite. So the Varroa destructor mite is a mite that attaches itself to the bees, usually in their larval stage, and then they get covered over, and they basically draw and give blood and other fluids out of these larvae or pupa, and they inject viruses into the colony, which of course results in kind of the most striking effect, if you will, are a wing deformation. And bees that have wings deformations can't fly. That means they can't forage, collect nectar, pollen, etc. So that's why, of course, it's important. So that's one of the causes, of course, pesticides and the Varroa destructor mite. So that's a very bad thing. But we have also come up with mitigation practices to knock down Varroa populations in hives and keep our bees healthy, if you will. So, what are some of the things that we use? Well, it depends on what time of year it is and what the condition of your hive is. Early in the season, and sometimes even in the wintertime, when queens aren't laying and your cells are open, then we use something called an acid. It's an oxalic acid. And in order to take a look at oxalic acid, well, I can show you a video right here that I made about oxalic acid and using oxalic acid. All right. And so I have it in two different forms. Number one, I have it in a powder form. And this spring, I got it in a pill form. And these pills are all pre-measured at 1 gram. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you kind of a quick test that I did with this oxalic acid dispenser that vaporizes the acid, because this acid has to be vaporized and then shot into the hive. All right. And so I have a video that I'll show you at the end that'll show you kind of this vaporizer that I have. It's a pretty cool device that shoots the vapor into the hive. But that is when the cells are empty. When there is brood in the cells. That means that the queens are laying, and of course we see larvae and capped brood in our cells, in our hives. We use a couple other mitigation practices, and usually we go with something a little bit more aggressive. Depends on, of course, something called your mite count, which I'm going to talk about in 1 second. And so we're going to use, if needed, we're going to use this Formic Pro. Formic Pro is, again, another chemical. It's environmentally friendly. It's friendly to the bees, and it comes in patties, which we're going to put in the top of our brood box. All right. So this is Formic Pro, and I'll show you. You can see it as I progress with my video today. This one expired in December of 2025. It's July. This package has been sealed until then. I think this is still good. I'm going to put it in there, and I'm not going to waste it because I already paid for it. So it's usually good for about 2 years. So I think about 7 months out of date, I think it should be okay. Obviously, you should always try and get fresh stuff, but being a small beekeeper like I am, I did mite counts last year, didn't have to use it. And so now I'm feeling like if I have to use it, it's available to me. Like I said, it's been sealed in this bag, and I just opened it a little bit ago. So these look like, well, I'll show you real quick, kind of some stinky pads, and they do obviously vaporize when you expose the pad to the air. And so they'll come in foil packs like this. There'll be 2 per pack. And generally what they recommend is with a hive like mine, which has only 1 full box, 1 full Langstroth box, or a deep and a medium, then we'll do like 2 10-day treatments. We're not going to put 2 patties into our hive at the same time because I don't have 2 full deep brood boxes. All right. So since I have 1.5-ish, I'm just going to split it up into 2 10-day treatments consecutive. I might just do 1 10-day treatment. I'm not sure. We'll go ahead and look at our mite count. And speaking of mite counts, how do we know our mite counts? Well, we use right here called this Easy Check device. All right. So this Easy Check is just basically something that holds bees and alcohol, isopropyl rubbing alcohol. I'm going to use 70% today, which is the most common one that you get from Walmart, which, by the way, this video is not sponsored by Walmart. I bought my own isopropyl rubbing alcohol. That's a joke because a lot of influencers say this video was, whatever, right? I bought it myself. So what's going to happen is I'm going to take a half a cup of bees, half a cup, maybe a cup, doesn't matter. That's about 300 bees, and it's half a cup. And 300 bees, approximately, somebody counted it out, and is a half a cup of bees. And so we're going to use this device right here to get the bees off of the frames, and we're going to look for frames with just larvae, and usually there are nurse bees on there, and we're going to head and scoop them off, put them in here, shake it up, and then we're going to take a mite reading on the bottom right here. So it's clear, and so we're going to be able to count the number of mites inside of this container. What you want is about 3%, yeah, 3% or less of a mite count. That means that if we see more than 9 mites in this, then obviously we want to knock them down. Even if we're at 9 mites, that's for me an indication that I'm just going to do 1 treatment. But if I see 0, then I don't have to treat them at all. But of course, you got to go in, you got to check. Another important thing, obviously, is that we got to search for our queen, because we don't want to put our queen in here with rubbing alcohol, because this kills the bees instantly. But as we progress with the video, we'll go ahead and see what's going on. So in order to move on, let's go ahead and let's jump right into the hives. All right, well, here we are at hive number 1. Going to go ahead and go inside. Going to locate that queen, isolate her in my queen clip right here. And the other thing is we're going to take the feeders off. Now, when you're using Formic Pro, you can leave your honey supers on. Right now, I'm not supering for honey. I'm just supering for bee population, so that the queen makes this hive more populated. But you cannot feed. So I'm going to take the feeders off, and again, they'll be feed free. The other thing is, of course, I need some venting. So I'm going to open up the top entrance, take off the entrance reducer, and I just took the bottom boards off so that there's more venting in the bottom of the hive. All right, so we want to make sure there's air circulating as those vapors, we don't want it to get too clogged up. You can kill a queen with Formic Pro, so we certainly want to prevent that. But, we also have to treat for mites. We might not have to. If our mite count is low, we might be in good shape. So let's go ahead and take a look. So I put in this gallon of syrup on Saturday, so we'll see how much syrup they've taken since Saturday. Yeah, a little more than half. So obviously, they're taking that syrup in there. Again, we're not getting honey from this hive. We want to feed them so they can grow the frame, so they can grow the beeswax, and we want to encourage them to make this hive bigger. When I return this bucket, I'm actually going to add some pollen too, so get that queen, to lay more eggs. All right. As always, I'm using the Apisolus Smokeless Bee Smoker right here. If you're interested in an Apisolus Smokeless Bee Smoker of your own, go ahead and order from Apisolus. I'm going to put the link below this video. And also use the code Winston20, and that'll get you 20% off on the Apisolus Smokeless. Basically, it's a vape. And here's a small hive beetle, so we'll just go ahead and crush it. All right. So as you can see, there's a lot of pests that can go inside your hive. Obviously, mites are the most dangerous, but small hive beetles can also be, a pest in the hive. So we're obviously going to have to manage those as well here in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to put this deep box right here so I can use it to hang some frames as we search for the queen. We'll go ahead and check this inner cover. Try and smash down these little small hive beetles as they appear. It's quite satisfying, to be honest with you. All right, I'm only seeing one right now. There's another one on the lid. Oh, here's another one. We're going to take off this broodminder temperature sensor, just because we're going to flip the lid over and use the other side right now. Okay, queen's not on the lid, as you would not expect her to be, but you never know. All right, you're going to see, this is quite a nice hive. There's a lot of bees in here, and also important is that they have a good temperament. So let's go ahead and smoke them down a little bit. Damien, who invented the Apisolus, when I spoke to him, he's in France, but they do distribute in the United States, so it comes in a couple of days when you order it. He says small, deliberate, deep puffs. All right, okay. So let's see what's going on up here. Again, I'm not looking for honey yet. All right, that'll come later in the fall. But right now, obviously, we're going to, our important purpose is to look for our queen. Another mitigation practice is using the drone frames, the green drone frames. And I do have some of those, but I bought them and I've never used them. They're still in the wrapping because it's basically a frame with large foundation, or the foundation holes are large for drones. Now, for some reason, the varroa mite attaches itself to drone larvae. And so what you do is you put these in here, you kind of put one on the top and then one on the bottom, one on the top. And then what you do is you wait for them to get filled with larvae, or wait for them to get capped with drone brood, and then you put them in the freezer. But that requires a lot of management. And since I'm a teacher in the summer, I'm on vacation, I don't want to stick around in the summertime and manage drone brood frames. So I don't do the drone brood frames. That is kind of an organic method, right? It's look at this frame full of capped brood. This would be a good frame to take bees off of, seeing a lot of larvae. So we'll definitely make a note of that. And there's our queen, and she's lost her mark. So yeah, all right. Where's my clip? The queen is on here. Need to find that queen clip that I had. Don't know what here it is. All right. So let's find that queen again. You just saw her. She doesn't have that white spot on her anymore. But that's okay. All right. Try to crawl to the backside, or hopped off and made my job difficult. Queenie, queen, where'd you go? I just saw you. Unfortunate, right? Just spotted our queen because I made a small error. She's no longer on this frame. I don't think. She might have crawled off in that direction. But look very carefully. It's a little bit more crowded down here. I'll be damned, right? All right, so no longer on this frame. So we're gonna go ahead, put this frame right here. Not giving up, not giving up. All right, 21st B frames getting drawn. It's a good sign, right? My glasses on. Continue the search. Let's bring this Apisolus closer. 21st B frames don't need to be drawn out. All right, took my eye off her for 1 second. This is crazy. She went through one of these communication holes. Right back on the other side. We have her in the clip. Go ahead and double check. Make sure there's a queen in there. Yep, there she is. Okay. All right. Put this queen right here. You're going to see it. You can keep an eye on that, and you'll see they're going to start kind of crawling around that. Now we're going to find what we need. We're going to find some larvae. I want to point out that I actually found the queen 3 times with no glasses. All right. So now let's get to this. This, I'm hoping, this is a nice big fat frame. Got a lot of honey, but oh, we have some cap brood. Queen is still in there. Cap brood, and I'm hoping when I flip it over, I'm going to find more cap brood. What I really want is open brood, but lacking that, we'll just go ahead and take the bees off of this. All right. Now, when you do this, make sure that you are not close to the hive, because that alcohol, as you know, will kill your bees. All right, so let's do this. A little trick to this that I learned from the Summit County beekeeping inspector, Randy Katz, which actually is, I've seen it on YouTube too. All right, so this is cap brood, not ideal. There are some open cells. So here's what you do. You take this and you see, run it down. And the bees fall in to the cup on the backside. Got a few more here. They're all over my finger, so I'm sure they're going to try and sting me right now. So let's go ahead and dump them in here. All right, flip it this way. Maybe I should do it a little bit more gently. See, going downward usually gets them. Let's go ahead and put this back together. Shove this back in here. Push this back together. And for now, go ahead and release our queen. That way we don't need her anymore. We're going to have to remark her. I just saw her crawling down. There's no more queen in there. Let's go ahead and do this shake. All right. So simply, the hive is closed now, so we're safe. We're just shaking. All right. We're going to go ahead and spin it like a washing machine. Really, I don't have 300 bees. I'm going to go with about 200 here. Try and shake it. All right. And now, without my glasses, I'm going to look. I'm counting 1, 2 mites. I'm pretty sure, if that. So let me get you up close, see if you see anything. Probably not. But really what we do is we read down here and we count the number of mites. Hopefully that's in focus, that are on the bottom. I'm not really seeing. I'm seeing one for sure. I see one for sure. So I'm not seeing an issue with mites. Even if there's only 100 bees here, 1 mite, pretty darn good. All right. So we're not treating this hive. We're not going to treat this hive. So that means that we're going to return to feeding the hive. All right. See how they're doing. I can see they've got some honey on them. So you see honey, see cap brood. There she is, right in the center of the frame with the white spot. I'm going to drop my hive tool, so I don't want to lose her. Oh, she just crawled into one of those communication holes. Oh, you little bitch. She is. She is. Still afoot. Come on, Queenie. Get in there. To the center a little bit. Oh, she's crawling to the back. Okay. Got the white dot. Got some larvae. Let's keep looking for more open larvae. All right. So you can see the bees are getting quite agitated. They're obviously sensing trouble. I can work a little quicker now that I know where my queen is. Okay, here's a good frame. We got lots of open brood on this one. So let's go ahead, get them in this cup. Let's see what the other side looks like. Yeah, all right. This is the one. All right, so once again, get the cup, just scrape it along. Well, I think we got what we need. Tied back together, give them back their queen. Oh, I was about to just put that in there. That was a crazy move, potentially, right? All right. All right. We'll go ahead and give these bees back their queen. Close up this hive and do the mite check. There she goes. And she's back inside. All right. So all's well that ends well there. Maybe, maybe not. But they weren't really giving up the ghost, if you will. All right. So let's see. Take this off this time and look inside. Oops, keep that away. Once again, I'm seeing zero. I see zero mites. Zero mite count. So bees are healthy. All right. Let's go ahead and shut this off. Even with 100 bees, right? I see zero bees. I'm happy about that. All right. Well, successful day. I have my hands in my pockets because a couple of angry bees are still kind of chasing me around, but we had a good day, right? Didn't we? Because we were looking for mites so that we could treat with Formic Pro, and we ended up finding one mite in one hive and maybe 100 to 200 bees that we were able to take off, and zero mites in the other hive. Now, it's impossible that there are zero mites in the hive. There's got to be some in there, but our load is low. All right, so that's a good thing. So we're feeling pretty good about that, right? And so we didn't treat with Formic Pro. So I'm going to go ahead and throw out that Formic Pro because it's expired and today's trash day, so that even better. But our hives are healthy. So what we're seeing is, we saw 2 healthy queens, and one of them, I don't know how she took her mark off. I said when I marked her that sometimes the bees go on and they scrape it. So next time we go in there, we'll go ahead and just mark her again. I might just do that without putting it on video since I just did it a couple of weeks ago. But I did promise you a video about using Formic Pro. So, I think I'll go ahead and show you that. Or you can watch a video on how to use oxalic vapor. And so you'll have a couple of options. Until then, of course, make sure that you stay happy with the bees. Make sure your bees are happy. My bees look happy. And as always, have fun. Remember to subscribe to my channel. Down below is the link right here. Right? I'm putting it right here. I think it fits. And also like my videos. Okay? So until then, I'm John with Sir Winston Honeybees, and enjoy these 2 videos about using vapor and also about using Formic Pro. The Formic Pro one that might not be mine, but there's some good beekeepers out there that'll teach you a lot of stuff. So enjoy these 2 videos, and until then, happy bees, everybody.